Hey, how about a 10-second Buick Riviera?
We're talking a 4,800-pound car here, but we got a lot more.
We sure do. We got a classic Corvette.
We got a straight rod with a nail head in it. We got a Cutlass.
We got a lot of other things that are way faster than these. Welcome to Griot's Garage Treasures. You know, Sam, we are here south of Atlanta at a fly-in community, and we're here at Joe Shepard's place.
Absolutely. He's got some great stuff. This is a beautiful area, and this Riviera is a 4,800-pound race car, and it's pretty impressive. But I'm going to go check out the street rod.
Okay, it is an amazing piece of work right here. It goes from 0 to 60 in about 3 seconds, which is amazing when you talk about a car this big. But we're here with our host, Joe Shepard. Tell me more about this Riviera. This is what, 72? Why did you choose this?
Actually, a friend of mine owned this car for 25 years. I've been watching him campaign this car and decided that he might put it up for sale. I finally talked him out of it about a year ago.
Tell me about the engine. What size is it? What kind of horsepower are you getting out of it?
It was done by premier engine builder Al Moody. It started life as a 455 Buick. That's about the only stock remaining part of this engine. We've gone with TA Performance product to build this engine up to 528 cubic inches. It's got aluminum rods, a billet crank, stroker crank of course, a built turbo 400 transmission. I think we dynoed out around 850 on the horsepower. Wow. And high 700s on the torque.
Single carburetor on it, no nitrous, right?
No nitrous, it's all motor.
And it'll do wheelies?
They say it pulls the front end about 8 inches. The interior is totally stock. It even retains the radio. It's licensed to drive on the road.
You tubbed it so you can put a bigger rear end in it, bigger tires and all that, but from the initial appearance it looks like a stock Buick Riviera. But we're not talking about stock. You know, Sam is wandering around here in your garage, got something in mind.
What I found back here was this really pretty little 39 Ford. This is a coupe, and it's a standard. Now, it's interesting, it's got stainless steel around the windshield, which most of your standards didn't have, so that was probably something that was custom done. Speaking of windshield, one of the neatest parts about these cars was the windshield rolls out. You get nice airflow under here. You had a cowl vent. I love the antennas. They had little knobs. You can put the antenna up and down. Buick used those for years. And speaking of Buick, let's look under the hood of this baby. It's got a nail head. A 401, got 2 4-barrels, a mild cam in it. Here's a neat little prop rod this guy made. Right down here with a nice little Hyman. Hot rodders are always thinking. Brass radiator that's polished up. This thing's got a 300 out of a Grand Sport Buick for a transmission. Got a 9-inch Ford rear end.
This car was put together in California in the late 60s by a fellow named Russ Martin, the Buick guru in California now. He found this car in front of a body shop and created this car of pretty much what you see here now. He beefed up the frame, and actually it was a street car, but he ran it at the drags every weekend, and he claims he never got beat in the 1/8 of a mile, ever. Fast forward, father-in-law found the car, brought it home in pieces, put it together, buffed it out, and put the engine in it. That all happened in about 96.
Being the standard, it didn't have the vertical grill that most of the 39 Deluxes had. Then, of course, back in 40, when they went to a Deluxe 40, they had a chrome horizontal grill. This actually shares some of the lines of the Mercuries. But here's something interesting. This fender has a little peak in it that's very subtle, but on a 39 standard, this fender comes down, has a nice, beautiful little Art Deco roll in it, where the Deluxe and the 40s came right down to the welting. So if you go to a swap meet to pick up some fenders, look for that. Nice 2-door coupe, tastefully done inside. Look at this interior. You got the original dashboard, and of course, where the ashtrays went, they fitted the AC ducts, so nothing hanging down below. Got an old school style billet steering column. And again, the moonshiners like these cars because you can put a heck of a tank from the right here about midway in this window all the way to the back. This is a great car. It's got beautiful chrome reverse wheels on it with moon discs, but they got the little Ford V8 emblem. This car has all the makings of a really nice hot rod, running down the road great, and maybe I can steal the keys from. Right now, we need to take a break. We've got a lot more coming up here on Griot's Garage Treasures. Don't you go away.
Griot's Garage Treasures is being brought to you by Griot's Garage, car care for the perfectionist. And by ARP, the world leader in fastener technology. And by Bristol Motor Speedway and Lights, November 16th through January 5th.
Welcome back to Griot's Garage Treasures, and I'm telling you, anytime you come to a flying community and you've got hangars all over the place, you never know what is inside. Here's a nice little treasure right here, the 1960 Corvette. Pretty much all stock. The engine is 283 in here. This is not the original engine.
It needed detailing, needed interior. I pulled the engine, went through the engine, just basically dried it up, painted it, made it look good, put the new shielding on it, did a complete interior including dash, seats, carpet.
But if you notice right here, it's got this chrome cover. This covers the distributor and the spark plug wires. The reason for that is this helps suppress RFI, or radio frequency interference. And this was a real problem on these cars because it had a fiberglass body. You get a lot of buzz and noise in the radio, so this is pretty standard. You'll see this a lot on the earlier model Corvettes. Something else you notice on this little Corvette, it runs a generator rather than an alternator on it, and then off the back of that, a cable drives the tachometer. This is a stock interior that's in it, so you can see it's in really good shape. Got a speedometer, runs up to 160 mile an hour. I don't think it'll quite make that, but it always looked good anyway. This is an automatic on here, and there's a reason for that.
I had my wife, who is a registered nurse. We were down in Orlando for a weekend seminar that she was attending, and I was running around classic car dealerships in the Orlando area. Came across this white Corvette sitting in one of them. The guy said, "It's not a 4-speed." I was actually looking for the automatic because my wife doesn't drive a stick shift yet. He had a very attractive price on it, and he was whining. He said, "Nobody wants it, it's an automatic. Everybody wants a 4-speed." Did some haggling, and I bought the car that afternoon and took her out to dinner that evening and handed her the keys. She said, "What's this?" I said, "This is your white Corvette."
Of course, back then they ran the exhaust right out through the fender, as you can see here. But this is a classy little Corvette. I love these. Too bad I don't fit into them.
It's made a nice little driver. She drives it, no power steering, no power brake, exactly like it came. That's the way she likes it.
Look at this little Cutlass. You know, this Oldsmobile Cutlass was a real popular car. You had your base Cutlass, your Cutlass S, your Cutlass Supreme, and then of course they took this and you could add the option for the 442 in different versions. This is a nice little car. The right color, got the right wheels on it, nice paint, beautiful vinyl roof, and it's got a 350 engine, automatic. These cars were great drivers, get down the road, had lots of power. One of the most popular A-bodies GM made, particularly when you went to 442 and convertible.
I spent quite a bit of time on eBay just looking at various classic cars, and I was looking for a car for my daughter. She wanted a nice little cruiser, something affordable that we go to cruise-ins on the weekend with the cars, and we wanted to include her in that. This Cutlass caught my eye. This one in particular, I noticed on the trunk it had Shepherd, which is our last name, and the dealership was Arkadelphia, Arkansas. Looked like a very nice car, so I drove over to Arkansas and checked it out, and it was indeed a very nice little Cutlass.
Now, when Joe found this car, he put it together for his daughter, had a bench seat. He put in the correct period bucket seats, the center console, the floor-mounted shifter, even changed out the steering column so you didn't have the old shift bucket standing there where, you know, people just pull a pin out, take the lever out.
When I remove the seats, you always find some treasures. I did find 3 small toy cars, which I gave my grandson, and cleaned them up a little bit. And I did find, you know, the usual amount of change, but I believe I did find a couple of dollars wadded up in there.
He restored it totally, got it all fixed up, and he drives it daily. It's his daughter's daily driver. And you know, you can make, like I said, you can get a 442 clone out of this, whatever you want to do. Shows you what kind of an eclectic collection he has.
Oh yeah, I know, and it's amazing any of these garages around here, what people do have. They do have some real treasures in here.
Oh, I know.
But some of the treasures coming up, though, are the airplanes that he's got.
Yep.
You may have seen some of these in the background. Well, that's not the only ones we have here. There's some others we want to show you as well, but we're going to show you that right after the break, so stay with us.
Griot's Garage is car care for the perfectionist. Whether you're cleaning a daily driver or perfecting the paint on your dream car, Griot's Garage makes a full line of products to get it done. From paint and chrome to wheels and tires, we make it, we teach it, we guarantee it. Shop for the hard-to-buy-for car enthusiast on your list. and have fun in your garage at griotsgarage.com.
Hey, welcome back to Griot's Garage Treasures. You know, there's nothing better than sitting here in your hangar with all your neat toys, your hot rods, and your airplanes on a rainy day and just kind of looking at things and watching time go away. Anyway, we do have a toy here that I want to show you. It's this beautiful little 1953 Cessna 195. This is an all-metal airplane. It's a tail dragger.
It's not an easy plane. It's, I would classify it as if you're a competent tailwheel pilot, you have no problem with the Cessna 195. You have to be very careful operating on the ground. You do the S-turn dance when you're taxiing down a taxiway because the right side is blind until you take a look with your S-turn to see what's out there. Yeah, you have to be careful on the ground.
When I open the door, I want you to take a look at something. If you open it up, if you notice right down here, a little step pops out, so it makes it easier to get into the aircraft. This will hold 5 people, 3 across back here, 1 up there, plus the pilot, and it's got pretty much all the original equipment in it, all the instruments. They've upgraded the avionics over time. But the interesting thing here, you notice how this is curved in? This gives the passengers here room to put their feet. Otherwise, if it was straight down, they really wouldn't have much room in there. So another little touch. This is all the original interior in this thing. See, it's been well maintained. Now down here, you've seen these on a lot of airplanes. These are called wheel fairings. What they're for, of course, is to help clean up the airflow around the airplane, make it fly a little bit easier, less drag on the aircraft. But here's something that's neat with this. This runs a 7-cylinder radial engine. This is a Jacobson engine. They all have twin spark plugs, which is common on aircraft engines. It'll run about 275 horsepower, and at cruising, it'll burn about 15 gallons an hour of avgas on this. Now, something else that's unique with this is it does have a variable pitch prop.
Cessna advertises this 195 at 180 miles an hour. Those figures come from a test pilot on an ideal day. I haven't been able to get it to go 180, but it'll do 170 miles an hour, true airspeed at altitude.
The window comes down so the pilot can have access, talk to the ground crew or whatever he needs to do. It also has some little ports right here. They're for flares.
They were required if you were flying passengers for hire at night. You would activate those flares in case of an engine failure, and it hopefully lit up the field or tree you were going to land in or hit.
There's a lot of wires and things. This is the automatic direction finder antenna that they use. The other wires or antennas you see are for different radio communications. This plane is pretty much all original, been hangared through its life. Now Sam's got a real unique airplane. Take a look at his.
This is an airplane I'm familiar with. I'm friends with Joe Shepard. I've been down to his hangar before. This is a 1936 Lockheed 12. This is basically the same airplane that Amelia Earhart flew. In fact, they used this airplane in the movie Amelia, and Joe flew it. This is an unbelievable specimen. There's only like 6 of these in the country that are airworthy.
After flying a Lockheed 12, I couldn't believe what a nice airplane it was. I decided I'd try to find one, which I didn't think I would, but one showed up. This Lockheed had been sitting about 9 years.
This thing is perfect. You know, it's got big wings. It's got these beautiful Pratt & Whitney. These are 450 horsepower motors. These are 95s. Now, these engines are fresh. They've all been gone through. These things got a low compression, about 6-to-1 compression, but they do have a little supercharger in them. These things put out a lot of power. You got, of course, a constant speed or variable pitch prop. And the interesting thing is these are electric start, but this is in such good tune. Joe has actually propped this thing off. You could push a propeller if you know what you're doing and get it running. And this is an all-electric airplane. It's got electric landing gear, electric flaps. Of course, there is a hydraulic strut for when you have landing gear contact, you want to make it to move. And it's got hydraulic brakes and the standard tow brakes and 2 master cylinders. No cowl flaps. The way this airplane's cowls are designed, it just keeps these engines cool, whether you're cruising or you're taxiing around on the ground, full power takeoff. Look at the polish on this thing. It's absolutely gorgeous. You're looking at a 20,000 man-hour restoration over 18 years. We
decided to take this airplane completely apart. I didn't think we'd ever get it back together.
Look at the size of this aileron and the size of this wing. That's what gave it such a great ride and a good glide ratio. Now, you come up a set of steps, something like this. It's got a beautiful interior. It's like the day it was made. It's configured now for 7. There is an extra seat. There's a little step ladder in here. but there was also a place for a portable lav that came in these things, so you could have a place to go to the bathroom.
What we have here is a original toilet out of a Lockheed 12. It's very unique in the fact that it is set up what I guess they call modesty doors. When you sit down, the doors open, and when you stand up, they close.
A nice touch. He's got some actual Amelia Earhart luggage. This was her luggage line. This is from the late 30s, very early 40s. A nice touch when displaying this airplane at a show. And I'll tell you what, I'm gonna have to come down here and do some polishing on this thing because it's just beautiful. It's all metal. Look at the size of this horizontal stabilizer. I mean, this is huge back here. And when you look, it's got twin vertical stabilizers with your rudders, and they're way out on the end here. There's a very strong empennage. Another nice little feature I like is this little guy right here. You've got a big set of elevators. This is what makes you pitch up and down. When this comes up, you get all of the wind off the fuselage, gives you full up authority. Gorgeous airplane. I really want to fly in it. Right now, we need to take a break. When we come back, we're going to show you a really special airplane, so don't go away.
Griot's Garage Treasures is being brought to you by Griot's Garage, car care for the perfectionist. And by Advance Auto Parts, service is our best part. And by Aquapel Glass Treatment, see clearly, drive safer, longer.
Welcome back to Griot's Garage Treasures. Well, I told you we're going to show you a special airplane. Well, this isn't it. It's behind me. Sam is with a 1941 AT-11.
I'll tell you what, this is John Hess, the Delta pilot. What kind of airplane you flying?
737.
Now, you're restoring this. Did you just find it and fly it here and put it together here, or what did you do?
It was in flying condition. We bought it from Iowa, and it needed a little bit of work, and we're slowly restoring it more and more to a more original condition. It already has the Norden bomb sight like it would have had.
Now, that's amazing. Now, this is basically the forerunner to a Beech 18.
Yes, one of the first Beech 18.
And it's got the 450 horsepower Pratt, the 985s, but this is different.
Yes, it has the blunt glass nose, and it's a flat glass nose, so it would give good optics where they could use the bomb sight to sight targets down below them. This is the airplane they would use to train the B-17 and B-24 bombardiers before they went over to the war.
And this airplane, I think you told me, was based in Northern California someplace? The women pilots doing the training?
We're almost positive women air service pilots, the WASP, would be flying this particular airplane in that time. It was in Victorville at the time when they were flying, and this was one of the bases that WASP were. And so the very first women pilots could have been piloting this airplane. This was a top turret, and they had a single 30 caliber machine gun that they could practice shooting from the top. And they also had a place underneath here they called a tunnel gun, where you could have another 30 caliber underneath to practice being a tail gunner. This is representative of the 100-pound bombs this would drop. It would carry 10 bombs. There would be 2 students on board, and each student would drop 5 apiece. And if you had a 23% accuracy, you were considered proficient.
That sounds like my high school score is 23%, and I was proficient. Kidding, Mom, kidding. So have you flown this thing much?
Flown it about 15 hours so far, and we're just going through our normal maintenance checks and getting it ready for some more flying this month.
Great, and it's got all the right markings on it and all that kind of stuff?
It's pretty accurate, yes. They're not original, but have been recreated on it so far.
This is really a neat airplane. You're not going to see many of these around. We'll look for John in this plane at an air show.
Well, you never know what you're going to find when you're rummaging around in somebody's garage. Besides airplanes, we found this old BMW motorcycle. This is a 1969 R69S. Now, this was bought new by John Hess's father. It's got about 63,000 miles on it, and you can see it's in excellent shape. You know, all we have to do is just clean this bike up, and we could ride it for probably another 63,000 miles. And speaking of cleaning up, let's take a look at Richard Griot and see if he's having fun in his garage.
Griot's Garage wants you to have fun in your garage. Now, here's your car care tip of the week with Richard Griot.
Hi. To make sure that you have fun in your garage this week, we're going to talk about long-lasting tire dressing and vinyl and rubber dressing. These are great products for rubber, vinyl, and plastics. The rubber seals around windows, doors, door handles, and mirrors are exposed to the environment and will be the first thing to deteriorate long before your paint. The chalky white appearance or brown dulling of rubber indicates the lack of care and attention. Our vinyl and rubber dressing remains dry to the touch just minutes after application. Most other dressings will remain greasy and attract dust and dirt for up to 24 hours. Our product is water-based and safe for all rubber and plastic trim. It's perfect for your interior dash and door panels, grills and exterior trim, rubber seals, engine bay, and tires. Brightens up wiring harnesses like you can't believe. Always start with a clean surface to ensure proper adhesion and an excellent finish. When applying any dressing, always apply the product onto the applicator, then use that to apply it onto the trim. Never spray dressings directly on the vehicle, as this will result in uneven application and the dressing getting into unwanted areas. For large areas of hard plastic molding, trim, bumpers, grill work, apply vinyl and rubber dressing with a blue detail sponge. These sponges will hold the product on the surface to reduce waste and allow for perfect application. They've been sliced on the sides for better grip and control and keep the dressing off your fingers too. Vinyl and rubber dressing is UV resistant, water-based, and safe for all vinyl, rubber, and plastic surfaces. It provides a satin finish that dries in just minutes, so there's no greasy residue left behind to collect new dirt and fingerprints. Long-lasting tire dressing is a thicker fluid that provides a high-gloss finish lasting 2 to 3 weeks. It can also be layered to achieve more and more gloss. First, apply the product to your applicator sponge. I prefer the dressing applicators for tires with grooves and raised lettering on the sides, but a blue detail sponge will also do the trick. Spread it in thin, even coats across the tire, ensuring you get in and around all grooves and the lettering. Thin coats will give you a more even finish and help you keep the dressing from flinging onto the side of your car. Do not buff the dressing into the tire rubber. Use smooth, clean strokes. The result should be a heavier coat of dressing that will provide a glossier look to the tire rubber. But remember, keep the dressing off the tread. So even if you do have the best vinyl and rubber dressings and long-lasting tire dressings, doesn't mean very much unless you have the right applicators. And at Griot's Garage, we really have you covered on that.
Well, Sam, buddy, I tell you what, this has been a lot of fun coming here to Joe Shepherd's garage. You never know what kind of treasures you'll find, do you?
Boy, and he's got some wonderful stuff. I'll be spending a lot of time here. I might even do a little polishing on this baby.
Yeah, well, this looks like one of these airplanes in the movies, doesn't it?
It does.
Like Casablanca, something like that?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what I thought. Anyway, we've run out of time. We want to thank Joe Shepherd for allowing us to come to his garage. We'll see you again here next time on Griot's Garage Treasures. Remember, have fun in your garage.
So long.
Sam will always have Paris.
Absolutely.